Well, hello folks. Welcome to my shop again this morning. I thought today we would build something useful. It's called a fan. And this can be used, of course, with the nice hot weather that's going to be coming along this summer, to cool yourself down a bit. It's a hand thing, very simple, no batteries required. And you just simply put it in your hand. I'm sure you've seen these before. But I thought we'd give them a little pizzazz. We'll give them a little decoration. This one here, for example, is a sort of an angel wings type of fan. I've got a little booklet of them together, and I'm going to be having this available up on Etsy. If you'd like to get this, you can get this pattern, and you'll get a bunch of other fan patterns also in the packet. The fan, of course, goes back a long way. I remember as kids we used to have these. There's folding ones, of course, and then there's flat ones like this one. The fan goes back to ancient Egypt, actually. They think that it started back there, and I imagine back in Egypt it was probably pretty hot. So we can use these locally. It gets pretty hot around here in Massachusetts in the summertime, and when that heat comes through, you might like a little device like this to cool yourself down a bit. And as I said, energy-wise, it's pretty much free. How much energy you got in your hand, that's the real question. And if you didn't want to use it as a fan, you could probably use it as a ping pong paddle or something like that. It's not going to be too heavy, because we're going to make everything, all these fans that we're going to make, if we decide to make the rest of them, are made from birch plywood, 1/4 inch. Now, you recall a video or two back, I got a package of these in the mail, and I was complaining pretty much generally that the makeup of the birch ply is pretty flimsy, and actually it's pretty much beneficial for this pattern, because we want this to be as light as possible for fanning ourselves. And this cheaper inner workings that they have here, the spongy material, makes it a very light material to use for fan purposes. So that's what we're going to use all the way through this to make our fan. Alright, we want to start with a big panel, probably something like about 8.5 by 11, regular sheet of paper. And we're going to cut out the pattern, put it on here, of course, and cut that out. Now we're also going to, after we get the paddle all pretty well set, the fan itself, we're going to go through and cut out this little outline in the middle, which looks like angel wings. And to decorate a little more, we're going to make a little decoration here out of birch ply again, and we're going to glue that right on at the bottom of the fan, the top part of the fan. And to thicken up the handle a little bit, I made some side panels which we're going to glue on either side. So you want to stack cut those two, again, out of birch ply. I've got some smaller pieces here. Most of this is scrap wood, and you can use that too. So the first thing we want to do is cut out our pattern, I suppose. We can do that just working our way around these other pieces. As I mentioned, if you want to get this pattern, just click the link down below. That'll take you to the booklet you can download from my Etsy store, and you'll get all the other patterns with it as well. Alright, we're going to need, we don't really need this big a piece of wood. Probably could have cut it a little smaller, but we'll go with what we've got here right now anyways. Alright, I'm going to take some painter's tape, of course, as usual. Move the pattern out of the way for the moment. and put this down on the board. Okay, we got that all cut out nicely. Now what we want to do is take our fan and lay it down here. Get our trusty old glue stick and put a generous amount on here. You don't want to be cheap with this. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive item anyways. But you want to get it good and thick so that it will hold down nicely to the blank. As you can see, we got a lot of extra room here. We're going to have more scrap when we're done. Now what we want to do is take this over to the drill press and drill some entry holes. The only entry holes you're going to need are the ones for the two wings. You're going to need an entry hole to cut out around the outline. We don't have to cut out these little outlines, these invisible outlines we'll call them, because that's where your other parts are going to fit. We might as well do those while we're doing this up too. Take the set of wings here. We're going to stack cut these, as I said. Or if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now. We're going to stack cut these. And what that means, if you're a beginner, you're going to take the two. You don't want two of these when we're done. You don't want just one. I need two. So we're going to take these and two pieces of wood we're going to use and stack them one on top of the other. And then we take a piece of tape. That's what this tape is good for. Of course, I just ruined it. Try not to get your tape stuck together here. Okay, put that tape down on here just to hold these together. We don't want them moving around when we're cutting. Okay, put those down like that, and then take our decoration, and this is going to be a 3D decoration. It's not going to be cut out of the wood on the fan itself. It's going to be added to it. So take that and just plunk it down right there. Now we're going to again put some entry holes here to cut this thing out, the inside and the outside. Alright, so we got that one done, and then we'll take the other two panels that we've got here. Not having a good time with this tape today, probably because it's been down in the shop here and it gets pretty cold at night in here. I don't keep any heat on, and the tape probably would like to be nice and warm, but it isn't going to be, so we'll just be careful with it. Put these together again, or stacking. I think actually we don't even need to put any more tape on. That's more than enough. I think this will cut out small enough. And again, glue it up on the back. And once again, put our, now this is an easy cut. one little entry hole, and we're going to cut around the outside of it. Alright, I think we're all set and ready to go cutting. I'm going to go drill the holes. I won't do that on camera, that's easy enough. Small drill will make a nice hole where we need them. And I'll meet you back at the scroll saw. Okay, here we are over at the scroll saw. We're going to use the little entry holes that we made to cut out these wings first. I'll probably speed this up rather than bore you with all this cutting, but I'll get started anyways. Okay, we got the first wing cut out. If I save this, make it into deer antlers if you like. I think we'll just toss it away though. I was thinking about possible uses for other pieces of the cutoff. And when you're cutting this, you want to, we're using 1/4 inch, so it isn't too bad, but you want to hold down your pattern so that when these thinner pieces, you get to the thinner pieces, they don't break off on you, so you hold it steady as possible. You slow your blade down as best you can too. If you're using a thinner wood, it might be a good idea to clamp a couple of boards around it so that it gives you a thicker piece to cut. But I would think the 1/4 inch is going to be fine for us. Okay, we got our other angel wing cut out, and that worked very nicely. Now we're going to cut the actual framework out, the fan itself, of course. You could just cut right around the board, but I like to keep some real estate intact here, so what I've done is I've done an entry hole for this also. Although we don't really need it, I think it'll be better to use that. When you're doing this too, by the way, if you think you might want to make the handle longer, you could do that too. Of course, it's going to interfere with the inlay, the overlay on the in the end. But originally, with the pattern, you could make this handle longer if you really think it's necessary. I think this is long enough as it is, of course. Alright, let's cut out the rest of the pattern. Okay, got that all cut out. We're going to save this board, of course, because got some good chunks here we could probably use for something else. You could have even cut out the extra pieces from this if you wanted to, but I used some other scrap pieces that I had, so we'll save this. Okay, we'll put that aside for now. And we are going to now cut out the little angel wing, which is going to be just a little decoration on the fan. And if you do this with stack cutting, it should be very nice and thick, so you shouldn't have too much flopping around. There we go. Okay, cut out the middle of this, get all the pieces out of there, throw them in the trash, and now we'll just cut around the outline to finish this off. It's a fairly easy cut, a little bit intricate if you're new, but practice with it and you'll get better at it. Okay, we got our two decorations done. And now all we have left is the handle. And this is going to be fairly easy to cut. Just going around the outside. Taking a little road trip around the outside of the handle. Here we go. Okay, made that road trip nice and easy. If you ever get bored while you're working on these, by the way, I like to think of this as a little trip that we're taking. And we just get on the road, drive around, riding through a nice country road. Before you know it, we're back at our starting point. Okay, let's take this all over to the bench and see what we got. Okay, we're back here at the bench, and it's your lucky day you stopped by today because you're going to have a nice fan to cool yourself down with. You can see it now. You're out at a picnic with all your friends, and you whip this thing out and start fanning yourself. You'll be the envy of the crowd. Alright, let's peel the pattern off now. It shouldn't be too difficult. Got any nails? You can do this better than I can, probably. Alright, there we go. Take that right off of there. Looking pretty good, I think. And it isn't even done yet. As I said, I complained about that wood and how chintzy it is. They're making it today, but I think it's going to be to our benefit on this particular project because it's going to give us a nice light fan to use on ourselves. I'll peel all the tape and patterns off the pieces. Like this. Nothing too difficult here. And the same with our little decoration. I think this is going to look pretty nice on this. By the way, you could paint this if you want. Different colors, whatever you think you'd like. Maybe if you're doing it for a gift for a child, you might want to paint it gold or something like that. And give it a little bit of mythical history. Or you could paint it other colors, or maybe just stain it, or as I'm going to do, just leave it plain old natural wood. Alright, so we got all the pieces done. Now, the way this is going to work, of course, is that these are going to be glued right there on both sides of the fan for decoration purposes. And this little handle piece is going to be put in like that on both sides. And then we're going to sand this down around the edges to round over all the pieces. Actually, we probably should do them separately, and that way we get it all nicely cleaned up, and then we can put it down and sand it again if we need to. If you wanted to, you could use a router to go around the edges of this and round those pieces over too. But I think good sanding, since it's such a light wood, will probably be enough for us. So I'm going to take this over to the sander now and get these little pieces. I'm going to use the mop sander. It's a nice light sander, and it'll take the sharp edges off here and clean up a lot of the fuzzies that we got on this thing. Okay, we're over here at the mop sander. I'm going to go around the edges here and clean up a lot of the fuzzies. Okay, if you don't have a mop sander like the sand flea here, you can just take some light sandpaper, just go around the edges, clean up all those fuzzies, give a good rubbing on the sides here. It'll round these over a little bit for you, and it'll be a lot smoother project in the end when you're done. Alright, let's take these back to the bench. Okay, final steps now are relatively easy. Take a little bit of wood glue, and just put a little bit on the back of the panels. You don't need a lot. Take some of this off. Okay. Just smooth it out with your finger, or if you're touchy about that, you can just get a little brush and brush it. Okay, our handle fits very nicely within the framework there. And take one of our little angel wing pieces, and I think what I'm going to do with this is take a piece of this scrap paper we had here, put some glue down on it. Running low on glue here, I'm going to have to pick up some. Just need a little bit on there. And get one of our trusty toothpicks. And take a toothpick and just put some glue along the back here, back side of the pattern. Should say the decoration. Gooey it up pretty good. And then you take this, and again, you don't have to measure anything, just eyeball it so that it looks good. It's not crooked. Alright, that looks pretty nice there. If you did paint it, contrasting colors would be nice. You can make these a different color than the actual panel itself if you want. But that's up to you. I take this and flip it over like that. And I would take a piece of wood similar size, actually another piece of here's one of these old angel wing pieces. Yes, hold it nice and even for you there. And then we take our panel. You can use a toothpick to do this too if you want. If you're afraid of mussing up your little fingers there. Either way, it works. Put it on there. Sort of eyeball it again so it looks nice. This will give you some body to the handle when you're going to use it. You could have just left it flat, of course, but if you can give it some body to hold on to, that'll be fine. You don't want to have no body. Like that old song years ago, I ain't got no body. Well, we don't want to have no body, we want to have somebody. And we've got it by thickening up that handle. And then we take our other set of wings, just glue them down there. Now you could put clamps on these if you want. I don't know that you really need to, because it's not going to be that heavy duty a problem. So what I'm going to do, since these are the only areas here, I'm going to take this piece of wood, put it down there, and we'll put the weight of the glue bottle on top of it. And that should be pretty good to close that down. Now, just to remind you, as I said before, if you want to get this pattern, I've got it at the link below. Just click on that. It's part of a little ebook, and in it you'll get a bunch of other fan patterns. I've got a Batman one, for example, and there's a little flower branch one, another hummingbird pattern in there. I'll show you a picture of these when I get it done. I'll put it up at the end of this video. But you just click that little link below, and that'll take you to the store, and a lot of other little patterns along with it. And at the same time, you'll be helping to support the channel here. Okay, we'll let this dry. We'll come back in a little while and see our finished result. Okay, folks, we've completed this project, and hopefully you'll find it useful when the hot summer comes and you're standing there sweating away. Just take out your fan and make everybody else jealous. This is the nice little angel one. I left that plain. Also did a one for the, I call it the bat fan, and decided to paint this one a little blue, but you could do other colors and you could do other arrangements also. Well, I hope you liked this project. If you did, click the link down below. It will help my channel, and subscribe to the channel too, and you get news on what's coming up down the road. Remember, if you want any of these patterns, click that link down below also, and get over there and pick up the package of fans. Thank you very much for watching.